Welcome to the past, kids, the place where you're not going to get Nazi STDs. We're talking about NCAA football week 8, some of the choice games that are coming up. We have Ron, if you go down the list for us.
Sure. First game up we've got is Kansas State, number 14 Kansas State at Oklahoma. Constance, what do you think?
All right, I didn't know if we were going to run down them. I barely have a horse in this race. Oklahoma.
I think Kansas State's going to upset Oklahoma at home.
I agree with Turtle. I like everything I've seen with Kansas State so far this year. I'm going to go K-State.
We have Notre Dame and Florida State after that. That's going to be a good game. There's also a lot of crazy Vegas things going on with that game as well. Some Jameis Winston issues.
Yep.
Pulling the game off the boards because they already, what was it, 10-1?
I think it was it was something like that.
Yeah, with the uncertainty on whether he's going to play.
Yeah. I think Florida State has enough problems to deal with. I think they're a good squad, but I think Notre Dame's going to take this one.
This one really comes down to who's going to play, but I feel the same way. I feel like there's so much off-field nonsense going on in Florida, and every team's due a loss at some point. Notre Dame's been playing really good football, and these two teams match up really nicely. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame this time.
Okay.
All right. There was off-field problems last time, once before when Florida State played, and they seem to be able to pull that out just fine. They recruit athletes, not just starters. So I'm not too worried about that. But interesting stat: Notre Dame is like 4-1 when they play the national championship the following year, and they have a pretty good record against Florida State. So for that, I'm going with Notre Dame, but nothing to do with any of the off-field stuff. I don't think it even matters at this point.
Interesting. Oklahoma State, TCU. That'll be a very good game. Ron, who do you got?
I'm going to go OSU. Okay. On this one. And oddly enough, it's for a little bit of what Constance just mentioned. I took Texas Christian last week, and they just pooped that game away. So
Jesus did not take the wheel.
Once bit, twice shy. I'm staying away from TCU.
Nice reference, Constant.
I'm actually gonna go with TCU this time, only because they have a very powerful offense. I think Baylor's defense is not as bad as it looked that day, and I just think that they might outgun Oklahoma State just for some odd reason.
This one's a little too close for me. They're both ranked teams, but I think Oklahoma State is gonna, if I'm going with my guy, Oklahoma State.
Okay. Is that a gut double check right there?
It was the discount double check. It was the Wrigglesworth double check.
Nice.
And finally, Stanford, Arizona State.
Yep.
I don't even give a shit what you guys say, Arizona State. They're going to take it.
Wow. I mean, I can see what you're saying. Just because I need an upset, I'm going to go with I already said Notre Dame for an upset, but doesn't seem an upset for me. I'm going to go with Stanford.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they're playing in Arizona State.
Yeah.
Okay. Ron?
So this is an interesting one. Every week I'm looking for upsets. That's kind of the way I just approach college football.
Who doesn't like a good upset, though?
Everybody loves a good upset, right? And this to me felt
Except for
like
the
a game where
Broncos
I checked the box on Arizona State immediately. That was my first time. I checked the box on Arizona State on this one. But the more I started looking into this, the more I really like the way that Stanford is going to match up against Arizona in terms of what they're bringing.
Stanford travels well, too.
They travel incredibly well. That's why I was looking at their travel record. They travel incredibly well. And so for a lot of the same reasons that you said, like I'm going to go with the upset on this one. I think I have probably about a 50% chance of hitting this one, but I'm going to go for it.
I just feel like Arizona State is a flashy team. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they don't have substance, but I'm saying they live on the flash. And I believe that Stanford has substance. So Arizona State could come out and do whatever they want to do in the first quarter or whatever, but I think the long race, Stanford's got the win.
Stanford's got it, yeah.
You know what I mean? They seem more seasoned. Even though Stanford's a young team, they travel well and they're disciplined. And so that's kind of why I went with them too.
Right on.
Yeah, last week, week 7, did I even get a pick? Did I even win anything?
Did you? Yeah, of course. We got one.
I got one?
Yeah.
There you go, kids. I got one. Yippee.
I went 3 for 4 last.
Constant.
First of all,
did
good. There's a Loomy technicality in here. Shouts out to all Public Enemy fans. I said on the broadcast, I started with Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then flipped.
Yes, you did.
but my gut was Ole Miss, and all weekend I thought that I had selected Ole Miss, and I was pulling for Ole Miss, and Ole Miss won. So I thought I swept the boards. I'm accepting my 3 and 4 because I shouldn't have backed off my gut feeling.
Right off it.
But I knew it. I called it.
But yeah. So anyway, let us know if there's any other games you guys are going to be watching this Saturday.
There are a lot.
There are a lot, but these
Rutgers is going to win that football game.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Ohio State
going down to Rutgers.
Ohio State's going
to win that
trounce
game.
Heard it here. That's the bonus game right there.
No.
Ohio State's going to beat them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If we end up in a tie, that'll be the tiebreaker.
All right.
That'd be
then
okay.
Then Ohio State. Aren't they? Where are they playing? Ohio State. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then.
How about
And Rutgers is going to win.
How about
I'm
the
telling you, I
Buckeyes?
picked all visitors. All my teams are on the road today.
All right.
I'm telling you.
Y'all
Okay.
need to go home. Just go home. Let us know in the comments what team you guys are rooting for and what games you're going to be watching in case we missed one. Hit us up on all of our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at The Pass Sports. We have a podcast too. If you don't know that, the comment I made about Nazi STDs, we talked about that in the podcast. So be in the know. Be one of the cool kids. Go subscribe. It's also in the description. And make sure to subscribe to this as well. We need to talk more hockey. And it's going to happen.
We're going to do a hockey show.
Don't you worry. The
Constance's
shuffle.
going to be on it.
The truffle shuffle. It's going to happen.
I'm not gonna be on that show.
It is. Why not?
No.
Hoops on ice.
Hoops on ice. This is the pass, kids.
But I came here saying the same day. I said the same thing. Next day, Ron's like, "Well, it happened. It happened. You know what I mean? It happened.
It
It
gotta
happened.
go with it.
I
Sometimes
won
it
them
goes
all.
with you,
I won
sometimes
them
it goes
all.
against you.
I won them all that day. You know, it happens. Now, that's a bad call. Give me that.
Womp, womp, womp.
Give me that.